See, this is going to be a real tough pill to swallow. I have been holding my tongue for a while, and it just, I caught wind of an Alana Pierce video where she's talking about how amazing of a value Game Pass is, and I wanted to hyphenate that video and say for third parties, because no one, see, I'm a true Xbox fan, so I'm not a fanboy. I don't just think everything is amazing that comes from Microsoft. Absolutely not. And I wanted to hyphenate that video and say for third parties, because you cannot tell me that the quality of first-party games from Microsoft has not gone downhill. Given it was going downhill for a bit, but this kind of redefined, this kind of, sped up the descent. Perfect example is Crackdown 3. And there's the primary issue right there when I bring up Crackdown 3 is, had that game not been on Game Pass, nobody would have bought it. And that's the problem. When you can make games that don't innovate, they just copy paste, let's add a few new little quirks to it, or gimmicks, excuse me, not quirks. Gimmicks would be cool. I mean, quirks would be cool, gimmicks aren't. And there's just nothing there. Gears of War 4 doesn't hold anything to the original trilogy. Gears of War 5 was better, still doesn't hold anything to the original trilogy. Crackdown 3, Horizon 4 was a backstep, if you ask me, when it comes to the Horizon series. I'm not even that big of a fan of Horizon, but to me, 3 was the best one, and then Test Drive, I think the Test Drive games were far better, but yeah. And then you just had these Grounded. Again, these games that Microsoft puts out, they're not genre defining. They don't make new genres. They don't transcend genres. They don't innovate. They don't do shit. They just there to occupy a genre. They're there to be like, oh, we have this. This is why we have fucking open world levels in a Gears of War game that made no sense, that had nothing in it, that literally was walk in this room, close the door behind us, shoot something, walk in the next room, close the door behind us, shoot some more stuff. It is just this cookie cutter approach to game making just drives me crazy. And it just when I wouldn't buy this game by itself, and the only reason I'm playing it is because on Game Pass, that's a problem. That tells you your quality isn't shit. Now, it's one thing if maybe you pirate a game, or you play a game on there and you like the game so much you support the dev, which I've done before. Which that's cool. And let me make this very clear. I'm not even a Sony fanboy. Any third party I get, 99% of the time, is on the Xbox. And you can actually look on this channel, and I gotta make some more videos about overrated games. Oh yeah, here, good example. The Outer Worlds, really quick. Not shout out to Fergus Harkard, but really quick, guys. Another game that was the open world was the Outer Worlds. It was not a good game. It just sucked. It felt like I was playing a game that was pseudo remastered from about 10, 12 years ago. It didn't move forward. Why when I go to talk to someone I have to see their bust, and I have to, that weird conversation cinematic style, it doesn't make sense to me. There's no innovation, there's nothing. Back to PlayStation. I've made videos on here, which you can look up, by the way, of how many PlayStation games are overrated. I've told you how, again, God of War 4, or whatever the hell they're calling it, God of War 2018 was made by cucks for cucks. The original trilogy had a deep story, amazing gameplay, and then they took its identity away and made it into this little weird father-son story about let's go spread your mother's ashes that we know nothing about. What the fuck? Okay. Horizon Zero Dawn, mundane, repetitive, nothing to write home about. Yeah, okay, it had great graphics, which I'll admit it did, but that's really it. It didn't do anything. I mean, hell, what were some other ones that we had? The Last of Us 2, again, that was horrible. And in fact, we even went with that same, let's make an open world level that's the biggest we've ever made that nobody wanted. We just wanted a game that was like the first one, right? Then, and actually, you know what? I think the most underrated PlayStation 4 game of all time, and people critically panned it, which was weird, but The Order 1886 I thought was an amazing game. And what was weird is these same people who say how it's too short and it was too overly cinematic were giving Detroit Become Human 10 out of 10s. Or 9 out of 10s, excuse me. And people were saying how The Order 1886 wasn't groundbreaking. Which, look, I think it's really interesting how, and especially with your mainstream game publications, how the bar for Sony games is so much higher that they actually criticize it for not being innovative, but they give Microsoft games, 8.5s and 9s for being the same copy paste with gimmicks on top. Make that make sense. And I will say that I think also the most underrated Xbox exclusive of this generation was Sunset Overdrive, by far. I don't know how that slipped under people's radar. I don't know how that game didn't do hot. And I don't know why Microsoft would ever let that go to Sony. But, excuse me, it is what it is, folks. And it's just that this whole thing has me just, anytime I see a first-party game is coming to Game Pass, I know what it is. I know it's copy-paste, new graphics or something, and multiple gimmicks everywhere. Cookie cutter. We occupy a genre. We don't define it. We don't try to push the bar. We don't try to be the best. We just want to be equal. Anyway, I gotta get off here. I'll catch you guys later.